Hello, Dr. Bailey and fellow classmate. My name is Fausto Garza. I will be giving you a brief presentation about the USA Patriot Act, balancing national security and civil liberties. My outline is why I chose this topic, the U.S. Patriot Act, key provisions, Section 213 and Section 215, a summary and the references that I used for this presentation. Why I chose this topic is the Patriot Act was one of the major legislation pieces following the 9/11 terrorist attacks to prevent future terrorist attacks on the United States. It gave the law enforcement very broad powers to investigate and prevent future terrorist attacks on the United States. Yet, with these broad powers in the name of national security, it kind of violated and eroded some of the civil liberties of Americans. So the U.S. Patriot Act was the legal framework for Homeland Security. Again, it was in response to the 9/11 terrorist attacks, and its purpose was to prevent future terrorist attacks. So they provided law enforcement with very broad powers to investigate possible future terrorist attacks. Within the USA Patriot Act, there was two provisions that were very controversial. That was Section 213 and Section 215, and we'll look first at Section 213. Under the Fourth Amendment, it prohibits unreasonable search and seizures by the government, yet law enforcement could go in and do searches which under what they was called sneak and peek warrants, where law enforcement could can execute a warrant with people not even knowing or being there, or being told days after or months later that they had searched their premises. They could have been their homes, their businesses. Also, under Section 213, law enforcement could seize property without even letting the owners know that the property had been seized. Once again, it could have been days, it could have been months before they were notified about seizing the property. Under Section 215, law enforcement could request any type of information, anything that was tangible things or business records, even though it might not have been under investigating terrorist activity. Such records were telephone records, could have been credit card records, could be books that you checked out of the public library. So it was a whole array of things that law enforcement could request. So in the end, there was so much controversy with the Patriot Act that the U.S. Congress slowly did not renew some of the provisions, and slowly the Patriot Act expired. So in the end, the Patriot Act was the first attempt to provide law enforcement with the tools necessary to investigate and prevent future terrorist attacks. It was basically the cornerstone for national security. It expanded law enforcement authority so much that it became controversial since it was enacted. It eroded or overwent its boundaries of civil liberties, as we saw in the Section 213 and 215, where they could search and seize property without you even knowing, or also asking for information records from third parties of any type of tangible information. This concludes my presentation. Thank you very much. Also, my references are listed there that you can also look at. Thank you again.